From the sidelines to the state title, he's the heart of the Bulldogs, the mind behind the game plan, and the face of Kearney football, Coach Logan Minnick. And now, get ready for insight, highlights, and a look at what's ahead for your Kearney Bulldogs from the Bulldog Radio Network team. It's your all-access pass to Bulldog football. This is the Coach Minnick Show.
Hey, welcome to the Coach Minnick Show. I'm your host, Mike Davis, along with producer-engineer Brian Watts, the hardest working man in Kearney, perhaps the entire state of Missouri. There he is, the most handsome man in the room.
Wow, such compliments.
Yeah, well, in the room, maybe.
Okay, in the room.
Yeah, the jury's still out on that one.
All right, well, let's
Kelly,
move on.
Yeah, appreciate that. Kelly Gentry to my left, and a terrific guy who really does, I think, more for the radio station than he's allowed to, but we're not going to stop him at this point. So we appreciate you, Kelly.
Tell me when.
And the namesake of the program, Coach Logan Minnick. Yes, welcome to the show, sir. An exciting 36-8 victory over a very tough Fort Osage team, which in my mind is a darn nice victory to put up for your opening season game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, anytime you beat a Fort Osage team by 1 point, you're excited, and I was so proud of the way our kids came out and executed a game plan. I thought we were, especially for a week one game, you know, normally you got some kinks and some nerves and some of that stuff, and I thought we had, you know, a lot of new players out there that stepped right in. You know, they were ready to play. So really proud of our coaching staff and the way they got them ready to play, and then hats off to our kids for coming out and executing against a really good football team.
A couple of things we talked about early on Friday night, even in the pregame show. One of the things that I wanted to see as a key to winning was that Carter Temple would step up another level and show more leadership. And boy, oh boy, if he didn't, and I think I even said something about maybe put the team on his back and just kind of see what happens. Well, guess what? 16 attempts for 64 yards of rushing and 3 touchdowns. Now, that would have been enough to win the game.
Right.
So, but as it turned out, he didn't have to put himself, you know, in a place where he's got to carry the entire team, because everybody else that I saw out there was playing an incredible game. And you and I spoke just minutes ago about one of the things that I noticed about the depth that since you got here. So we're talking about what, 4 years now, five.
4.
So. Every year, yes, it's the next guy up. We talked about that. But what was so amazing to me the other night was the kids who weren't starters last year, who are starters this year, did such a terrific job that they didn't look like that they were, you know, second unit guys.
Right.
I mean, they look like they've been starting for the last 3 years. I mean, incredible efforts by everybody. Terrific job by the entire team. Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, a very physical game, Coach. I mean, some hard hitting happening on both sides. I know you said matching their intensity, and it was a dogfight. Literally, that first quarter started out no score in the first quarter, and I was thinking, man, is this going to look like last year? But tell us a little bit about the start of the game and what you saw from a physicality standpoint.
Yeah, you know, when you play Fort, it's going to be fist fight in the phone booth, and they like to play our style of football, which we both take a lot of pride in. And you know, both teams want to be the most physical team on the field, and you know, I thought both teams were extremely physical, especially right out the gate. Yeah, I told you guys all week, you know, it may be another game where it's 7-0, and I thought for sure, it's like, man, we're going to go into half 7-6. I was like, this is going to be one of those type ball games, and then you know, we execute a great 2-minute drill drive to go down and get up a touchdown, then went for 2 to, you know, get up 2 scores there at half. So proud of our kids' execution on that. You know, that seems like something we do a lot, is really do a good job with that clock management and find a way to put points on the board. And we call it the middle 8. The last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half are huge in games. And I thought our kids really, I kind of felt like when we got up to 2 scores, it was kind of the nail in their coffin, because I didn't think they were going to score 2 times. So was really proud of that effort and our kids executing that 2-point conversion.
Yeah, interesting. When we talked to Carter after the game, you know, he mentioned that No, we can score it whether there's 2 minutes left or or 12.
Right.
He said that's just what we count on. We know that we can score from anywhere at any time. And I thought that was well said. It may have been a line that he had saved up, but I'm just saying it showed the other night. And I think Jim mentioned it in the broadcast that he said, "Gosh, it looks like Fort Osage is getting up to the line of scrimmage slower, that they want to keep Kearney from getting the ball,
Yep.
with less than a minute or two to go in the half." And as it turned out, that's exactly what happened. And wow, there it is again. Wow, and you guys put it up on there. And and when you left in the halftime with the lead like that.
Yeah, I was on that headset with the defensive guys. I'm like, guys, we can stop here. We're going to use our timeouts and try to get it back. And, yeah, they were definitely trying to run the ball there and get it to halftime with the game 7-6, and they'd have been probably feeling pretty good about that. And so, we got lucky. They threw an incomplete pass, and they were out of bounds on another, so we got to save one timeout there as well. But, yeah, perfect execution by the defense, getting them stopped. Great use for timeouts to get the ball back with some time and keep one timeout that we ended up needing down there as well. So, proud of the effort because it was executed pretty well.
Yeah, and I was getting a little concerned about it because it was getting under a minute, but a big play. I think we had a blocked punt that actually set up some field position closer to midfield. You had 40-some seconds to go. I think you scored with like 20 seconds to go, so it didn't take long, but great execution by the guys. And then I was going to ask you about going for that 2-point conversion. Is that something you were trying to do to get that 2-score lead?
Yeah, for sure, and that's something I'm usually pretty aggressive on early in a game. If you get the opportunity to go up 9 early, late in the game, we'll probably kick that and force them to score a 2-point to tie it. You don't ever want to not get it and be up 7, and then they go down and score, and they have the opportunity to win the game. But yeah, that early in the game, and I thought we had a play on the 2-point that we really liked, and we've practiced all summer, and so a play we were very confident in for a 2-point play, and the kids executed it. But yeah, that was, like I said, huge for us to go up 9 instead of 7 going into half.
Great job by Drew Nelson, by the way, on that catch too. I mean, he got wide open, and there's an image we use. There's a picture of it in our article online, and I couldn't believe how wide open he was.
Yep.
Now the guys that were coming after him were closing quickly, but there was just no way unless he dropped the ball that that wasn't going to be a 2-point.
Yeah,
2-pointer.
I can tell you, Coach Brinkley hates defending that same exact play. We've gotten them on it several times. They're pretty good at defending it now, but first time you see it, we call it a Y throwback and sneak him out the back door is what we're doing there. And it's tough to defend, especially when you get overly aggressive defense like Fort Osage is. They want to run and stuff the ball so you can get some counters and throwbacks and things on them just because of the nature of the way they play defense.
Now, Trace Smith is their senior running back, and I'm looking here that he had 6 rushes for 20 yards total. Now, hats off to the defense, and we did this with only one of the Beaver twins, but I did notice that he drew a ton of attention from their offensive line, but unfortunately it still didn't stop the rush and the pressure that Jonathan Ross, their quarterback, was under all night long.
Yeah, hats off to our defense. Our defensive goal every week is to hold teams to 3.5 yards per carry or less, and it was 1.8 or something this week.
Yeah.
It was, 24 carries for 30-some yards.
Yeah.
That's pretty outstanding, and it makes teams one-dimensional where they've got to throw it more than they'd like, and then, when our guys know they got to get into passing situations, we've got some guys that can rush the passer, and we didn't get as many sacks as we wanted, but quarterback pressures and speeding him up, I thought we did a great job with. Lane Cook gets a strip sack late, too, to get us the ball back there to pretty much put the nail in the coffin there. So, yeah, I thought defensive line-wise, we played really well, and as you said, Beaver was getting doubled and tripled a lot, and, we're okay with that. He doesn't have to make every play. If he's getting tripled, it frees everyone else up to make plays. So, Very unselfish of him. I know he would like to have more tackles and sacks and all that, but at the same time, if you're getting triple teamed, you're doing your job.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about that too. Of course, some of the names we used to call in from last year, the Isaac Mason as well as Clay Cowan, a couple of newcomers on the defensive line. I wanted to shout out Grant Bogert, did a really good job from the defensive end spot. And then Lane Cook, I saw him at a volleyball game. I didn't even recognize him from last year, how much stronger and bigger he's gotten also on that defensive line.
Yeah, we finally got Lane out of those small T-shirts. We got him, got him in some bigger shirts now. But yeah, he's one that definitely bought into the weight room and bought into having a high diet where he was legitimately trying to gain weight all offseason and did a really good job. Yeah, because he looks night and day different from, kind of looked like a swimmer as a sophomore. Now he kind of looks like a football player.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, proud of him. And, you're really excited for those kind of kids that do what they need to do to get, they want to play on Friday. And he's put himself into that situation. And so proud of him and so excited for him to make a big play. It was so funny. His Dr. Cook's always down on our sideline down there. And from our end zone camera, when Lane made that strip sack, you can see like the dad excitement. It was
Yes.
so perfect, just the camera angle and everything. So, but yeah, Lane's been a great addition to our Friday night roster, and you'll see more of him going forward.
Nick Balabre had a quiet but incredibly great game, and you could see him out there, and you knew that he was a big part of everything that we were doing in the trenches, and I just want to give him just a little attention here because he played a terrific game.
Yeah, Nick was pretty dominant, at times, because I told you guys, last week if we could handle the D-line, they had a little inexperience at the linebacker level, and that's what we had to try to exploit, and I thought, because that D-line may be the best D-line we see all year, so I thought we did a great job handling those guys up front, making sure we took care of the line of scrimmage first, and then, you saw the way our backs ran, they're going to break some tackles. So, at times we didn't always get to the linebacker because we were just taking care of the line of scrimmage, and I thought our kids did a really good job with that.
No doubt about it, and in fact, we mentioned Kalen Bomar and J.D. Romero over on that right side because you were having some luck, I think, some skill to get the ball moving on the right-hand side.
Yeah, that's what I told you guys too. We're excited this year because I know in the past it felt like we ran the ball left every single time, and now we can stay more balanced because we're comfortable running it, either direction, right or left, or right at you, or we're going to line up, we're going to pound the rock. So excited that now we have the ability to go both ways on that.
Yeah, I was just on the defensive side again. I just wanted to give a shout out because I know we've got some new guys playing linebacker this year, but both the Tucking twins, tremendous game from the linebacker position. Damian Carter, a new addition into the secondary this year with 7 tackles. Maybe talk a little bit about the linebacker and D-backs on the defense.
Yeah, big thing. I thought we were great in tackling. Especially early in the season, we talk about that all the time. You don't really live tackle in practice anymore, so it takes you a few weeks to really get your tackling down. And I thought we did a phenomenal job tackling defensively, not many missed tackles at all. And then, the other thing we talk about all the time, we talk about great defense is leverage. And, Cale was our defensive player of the game for us. And you saw there were so many plays that he strung it out, and then makes the play. And at times, especially with younger kids, or they get so excited when the ball's at them, they'll pick one side or the other around the receiver, and then the ball goes out and around. But I thought he did a phenomenal job of playing smart, leverage defense. Not only is he slowing the play down to let his teammates come to it, but he's also making the play, which is, he had a great game. And then, like you said, Damian Carter steps right into his first varsity game, and when you don't hear corners' names, that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought him and Brad both did a great job in coverage and keeping everything in front, and especially when we got up a few scores, we tell those corners nothing over the top. We may give up a yard or two in the run game, we may give up a hitch. That's fine. We've got the lead. We're gonna stay over the top and not give up big plays.
We talked about Graham Parker's 49-yard, 50-yard reception. We'll just round up here on this one. But I'm looking at Drew Nelson and Sam Way. Both had 29 yards. Hudson Best had 19, and Dryden Hendricks had a 15-yard reception. Corbin had 8, an 8-yard reception. What that tells me is that you guys did a real nice job of sprinkling that ball around to just about anybody, and they all caught the ball.
Yeah, we're going to be tough to defend for that very reason, and we've got the great thing we have a bunch of unselfish kids because we've got a ton of talent that could be the guy in a lot of offenses, and so proud of our kids. We had 7 different players catch a pass. We had 6 different people carry the football.
I saw that.
And that's not in a game where you got up a bunch and you rolled the 2s in where you had, a bunch of kids playing. We had legitimately 7 receivers in our varsity offense catch passes. So, that does make it tough to defend. And, and as you mentioned earlier, talking about Carter, he was 11 of 15 passing. We had a couple drops in there. I thought he was unbelievably efficient in the pass game, and I think that adds to our offense this year too. We're going to be so much better throwing the football this year. Like, you got to, if you load the box, we can throw it. If you don't load the box, we're going to run it, and makes us pretty dangerous offensively.
Yeah, it sure does. And I was thinking after the game that whatever film you see from the Kearney Bulldogs that from last Friday night, I mean, that's going to make some defensive coordinators a little bit nervous, I would think, because you're going to have to defend. You're not going to be able to just sort of jam everybody up on the box and all of that, which I think Fort Osage attempted to do a number of times. I know they were showing 3, bringing another couple of linebackers up, and it worked for a while. But then it was, to me, it was just a mistake because then you're leaving that that second level open.
Yeah, like you said, that the deep pass to Graham they're in straight man-to-man across the board. It's play action, so the safeties are completely out of there. So it's just one-on-one, that poor corner, one-on-one with no safety help inside. And we had it, play earlier in the game to Hudson Best. We had it on the same exact call. But hats off to Graham. That was a heck of a catch because he was being held. And
oh, yeah.
It looks like our kids were like, oh, look how excited Coach Minnick is on the game film. I was like, wasn't excited. I was getting after that back jump. But
we have video evidence, by the way. Yes.
But, yes, great job. Heck of a catch by Graham there. And, again, we've got 6 receivers we're comfortable throwing into the game at all times. And I know those kids aren't getting as many reps as they'd like. And, we ran a bunch of double tight where we'll have 1 receiver on the field at a time. Good job by those guys being okay with, what the game plan was.
All right, let's take a break, Brian, and come back for more. You're listening or watching the Coach Minnick Show after our first victory against Fort Osage, 36-8. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Reagan National Airport outside Washington, D.C. were shut down for hours tonight. It comes after American Airlines says a plane blew out several tires after landing.
Flight 1551 blew one of its tires during takeoff.
4 tires blew out.
A disabled aircraft on the runway can easily shift from a simple inconvenience to an airport operations nightmare. The unfortunate outcome can often lead to a complete airport closure and, in some cases, significant airport financial losses. The solution is easy: Planesgate. Planesgate was designed as a simple, innovative method of removing disabled aircraft from your runway, quickly, safely, and efficiently. Planesgate is manufactured for both civilian and military aircraft. The sturdy design makes quick work of moving everything from corporate jets, turboprops, large, medium, and small piston twins, and almost every single-engine aircraft, including tailwheel and warbirds. Planesgate is extremely versatile and easy to use on multiple airport surfaces. Planesgate traverses large runway cracks, sand, dirt, and gravel with ease. Potholes, ice, snow, and grass are no challenge to Planesgate's mobility. And best of all, in most cases, you can clear a runway in less than 15 minutes with Planesgate. Now that's a game changer that'll keep your runway open. Discover more about keeping your airport operations running smoothly. Visit Planesgate.com and keep that runway open.
Dings, dents, or a full-on fender bender. When life happens to your car, you can trust the team that's been fixing it right for over 40 years. At CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, expert collision repair, precision paint matching, and detailing come standard with customer care that goes the extra mile. CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, 816-628-5621, or you can stop in for a repair estimate at 104 West Main Street in Kearney. CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, where your car gets the care it deserves.
Friday nights in the fall mean one thing in Kearney: Bulldog football. And you can catch every snap, tackle, and touchdown right here on 102.7 FM and the KPGZ mobile app. We kick things off with the Penrod's Greenhouse pregame show, your inside look at the matchups, players, and keys to victory.
Then stay locked in for the action-packed play-by-play of your Kearney Bulldogs under the Friday night lights.
At halftime, we break it all down with the Platte Clay Electric Cooperative halftime show, delivering expert analysis, stats, and a look ahead to the second half. And when the final whistle blows, don't go anywhere. The United Fiber postgame wrap-up brings you highlights, scores, and reaction from the gridiron.
It's all part of your complete game night experience. Bulldog football every Friday night. Presented by Intercept Fiber of Kearney on 102.7 FM and the KPGZ mobile app.
Your home for Bulldog sports.
All right, Kelly Gentry here from Kearney High School. Kearney defeats Fort Osage 36-8 on opening night, joined by junior running back Dryden Hendricks. And Dryden, your first game here at Kearney High School. You moved in here, first game. What did you think of the Friday night lights here at Kearney High School against a big-time opponent in Fort Osage?
I mean, it's a crazy atmosphere. Love everybody that came out to support, and I'm so happy to be a part of it. I can't describe it.
Well, being a part of it, you made a huge difference tonight. Mike, Jim, and I in the booth, we were just so excited seeing your shiftiness and the way you were able to run. I don't know what your final stats were. You had a big night. Talk to us about what you were seeing and what was happening behind the big O-line tonight.
I was seeing a whole lot of blocking from the O-line. That's what I was seeing. They really made it happen tonight. They opened up the holes, and our guys made plays. It was a great night. The line kept saying they were going to open up the hole, and there was going to be a pot of gold like a rainbow at the end. That's what they kept telling me. So, yeah, man, it was just a great night, great team win. But we're just going to keep our heads on, keep moving, and get ready for next game.
All right, well, I got to ask you, we've been comparing you to great backs that have played here at Kearney High School in the past. You've got some real shiftiness. Where does that come from, that running ability, just that vision and shiftiness that you have?
Well, I got a lot of athletes in my family, blessed for that. And, just work over the summer, work when no one's looking, with the team, with trainers, just always working. That's what you got to do.
Well, I got to ask you one more thing. We saw you make a big play on defense tonight, right? You got in there, made a big play on defense. Is that something you're used to, playing two ways?
Yeah, I'm used to playing both ways. I started both ways as a freshman and sophomore. And, I'm willing to do whatever the team needs me to do here to get the W. And I'm happy I made the play for the team.
Well, congratulations. A big win tonight over Class 5 Fort Osage. Kelly Gentry here with Dryden Hendricks signing off from Kearney High School.
All right, welcome back to the show. You're watching or listening to the Coach Minnick Show, and terrific job by Dryden Hendricks, and a couple of touchdowns and 50-some-odd yards of rushing.
56 yards
56.
rushing.
Great job. You hand the guy the football, and he makes things happen.
Yeah, nice little move in for us there. Yeah, heck of a player, as you guys saw, and he's only going to get better and better as he gets more and more comfortable with our schemes and understanding our things, because that's what's crazy. He comes in, just this summer, and all the things we run offensively is pretty wild, especially for the running backs, and the receivers have to know all kinds of terminology and all kinds of things, and he's picked it up immediately and stepped right in, and you saw too, he's learned the defense as well. So we got a heck of a football player in him, and proud of the way he played. First game, and I was excited for him to get to play in front of our crowd and our community and see our student section and see what Kearney football is all about. And I know he was super excited for that, and excited for him as well. He won the hidden word challenge last week. I didn't even know.
We saw that.
I was confused when he said rainbow, and then I remembered, we've got quarterback club is trying to get the kids to sneak some words in. I was supposed to say ruckus, and I forgot all about it when you guys were interviewing me. So I'll definitely get whatever the word is in next week.
Well, I thought maybe he was an English major and he was trying to work in his best metaphor.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that works okay. It kind of reminded me of a box of Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
It was good.
We'll allow it because he was giving credit to the O-line that was getting him to that pot of gold, right, in the rainbow.
Yeah. As we were talking off air, we're very excited where our offensive line's at. We got a lot of depth there as well. I'm not sure you guys saw us, rotate some different kids in there as well. And anytime you can do that with the O-line, that's good because you've got to have some depth there. And we've got a good group rotating through right there. And I'm proud of those guys. It's a lot of fun up front because, in the past we've had some road graders. Now we got road graders, we got excavators, we got dump trucks, we got about any giant piece of physical equipment you could have, and we've got them all. So we're really excited for those kids up front.
Oh, winning is fun. But if we can and be serious and still have fun, yes, of course we can. It's great to see these kids out there having a great time, and you can tell they love football.
Right.
It shows. It shows in their play. It shows in their posture, and they're just. This is not a team that hangs their head, and there's really no. There's 12 reasons not to hang your head last year,
right.
and yet when they kept even in a tough loss, they came back with a vigor, and boy oh boy, it's fun to watch.
You mentioned one of the offensive linemen, and I wanted to give a shout out because he's also doing the long snapping duties. I can't remember. I think he did some of that last year on punts and kicks, but Cohen Dre just doing a super job stepping in there on the offensive line as well as the deep snapper.
Yeah. Cohen stepped in. He wasn't intended to be the original starter at guard. We've got a couple guys dinged, but came in and played absolutely phenomenal. Like he may not ever give that job back, which is a good thing for us because now we've got 7, 8 offensive linemen that we're comfortable at any point throwing in there. Mm-hmm. And he's a secret weapon. When you have a good long snapper, that's huge to have. As you saw, Fort first punt, they snap it over their guy's head, and that gives us a short field to start the game. So that's something we take. And you guys know we take a lot of pride in our special teams, and he's been absolutely great. With the long snapping, and then the way we punt the football, he has to snap that thing 10 yards on the money for the timing to be right. And he's done a phenomenal job of that, and he did that all last year as a sophomore. Kind of a hidden guy that nobody really noticed that he got to play as much as a sophomore, but he was a huge part of our team last year just doing the long snapping.
Again, just going back to Carter Temple, the 11 of 15 for 149 yards and 15 carries for 69 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. And a 2-point conversion on the pass completion. I feel like you can't say enough about this guy from the standpoint of just a dual threat, yes, but that seems to be a term that's overused. There was a real sense of leadership, and you get that vibe from the rest of the team.
Yeah, you could just see how much more comfortable he is at the quarterback position and stepping in. Like there was one play where pass pro broke down a little bit, and we, rather than try to throw it out there, he threw it out of bounds, made a great choice, took care of the football, and then did a phenomenal job in the option game. Because when you run option, you've got to mesh. There's 3 different things that can happen on that play, and you've got to protect the football. And I thought we were great with our pitches, with our meshes. We took care of the football, and we tell our kids all the time, we've never lost a football game here when we had 0 turnovers. And we really take pride in that, and we really preach that because it's true. We've won, I don't know what it is, how many games we've won over these 4 years, but we've never lost one when we don't turn it over at all. So proud of our kids understanding and really buying into taking care of the football.
one of the things, and I talked about it with him in his interview too, his ball skills in terms of fakes, things like that, and then even on a couple of those options, he gave them a little whoop and kept it. Fake that pitch, kept it, and kept going. I think he scored on one of those, but you can definitely see that takes some confidence to be able to do that too, right?
Oh, for sure. And adding almost all of our run plays now have some built-in kind of read scheme to it that at any point he can pull it, and that slows down any backside pursuit because at any time he can pull that thing out and go. So, adding that dimension to the offense is something we haven't done a ton of in the past just because, the state year we were so banged up at quarterback, and then last year we didn't want to run sophomore a ton, but this year is, especially in our bigger games, he's going to tote the rock because, he's hard to tackle.
Oh yeah.
So even when you do have the correct guy there to take quarterback, he's still got to tackle 6'3", 230-pound quarterback that's pretty dang good on his feet. So, he played phenomenal. I thought he played really well. He was our offensive player of the game, and deservedly so.
No doubt about it. I want to talk about your secondary for just a minute. Nicholas Penniman was, I think, one of the generational Pennemans at Fort Osage. And in fact, I think I mentioned that, the family's been playing football since 1910. But
I believe it.
I made that up, but it seems that way when you see it. But what's interesting is he had 5 receptions for 70 yards and 1 touchdown, and their only touchdown. Now, that's a guy that can line up against a lot of teams and destroy your evening.
Right.
And especially with a good job by Ross, who's a very talented quarterback and has the ability to pinpoint, put the ball where he wants to. But it's a reflection on our secondary and our defense overall, with putting a lot of pressure on their quarterback and the defensive players playing so well in coverage.
Yeah, for sure. And hats off to our kids understanding what the game plan was. If he runs a 5-yard route and catches it, we're fine, get it tackled. I thought we did. He had some yards there, but we kept him in front, which was the game plan going in, is he can't be behind us. He can't, because we wouldn't catch him if he got behind us. So our kids did a great job of that, and he was going to be their go-to guy, and especially once we got up a couple scores and they had to throw it, the fact that he had 5 catches, we're pretty excited about that.
Absolutely. Coach, one of the things I wanted to, and we talked about it a little bit, but the Special Forces group, again, both Tucking twins doing a super job on the special teams. We talked about the blocked punt, but also a really good job in the return game, actually by I think that was Luke that was the returner, as well as Corbin Emmons also had a great return against their kick team.
Yeah, Coach Wendell's doing a phenomenal job with our special teams, and we're all very blessed with the amount of talent we have at running back and linebacker, and the receivers and DBs. Those are usually those type bodies you put on your special teams. So, we've got a ton of talent on those teams, so we should be pretty dang elite at those. And yeah, as you said, like Kale's doing our kick and punt returning this year and did a great job coming up, fair catching a punt when, he had people in his face. The moment wasn't too big for his time being out there as the first time as a punt returner on Friday. And that job, you've got to have somebody that's a little different, or, you've got to have some weird confidence as a punt returner to, you've got guys running as fast as they can at you to step in there and catch that ball. And he's done a really good job with that. And, and John Luke, his brother was our special teams player of the week. He had the blocked punt. We think he got a piece of the first punt that went over the punter's head as well. And then I think he had 4 or 5 tackles on special teams as well. So, the special teams has played at a high level, and we expect that to continue.
Speaking of confidence, that is the Bulldogs' 4th win in a row over Fort Osage. And when going into a contest like that, the level of talent, and we talked about the players especially on their defensive line last week, you've got to have a level of confidence to play against big athletic guys, and we saw it.
Yeah, our kids are pretty confident, and we want those type of games. We don't want the ones where the JV's in at halftime and Not that we don't want the JV in the game, or that we don't want to be up that much at half, but we want those competitive games. We want those playoff-like atmospheres. We want that kind of competition to get us prepared for a playoff run.
Well, we want you to be up that high against anybody, so we can relax at halftime. Anyway, yeah, great, but traditionally dominant defenses on both sides, and great job on defense by both teams. But it's great to be on the winning side of that.
Yeah, I think the other part of it that you talked about was just that clock management. I remember you saying that middle 8 scoring right before half, and then you get the ball, go down and score right after halftime again. Yep. So successful on both sides of that, and that kind of felt like it stole their heart a little bit, right? Like you said, going up 22-6, I think, at that point.
Do we have time for the play of the game now, Brian, or do you want to save that for player of the game? Do you want to do that here? And our Conrad's Kitchen patio player of the game is, and there he is. Of course, we've been talking about him all morning, but what a terrific guy. Carter Temple, number 15, a junior that plays like he's been on the team for the last 5 years. And boy, is it great to just see an athletic guy who has such a command of the game. And you talk about his wrestling achievements, and that's a guy you don't want to meet in a dark alley. Yeah. Unless he's your bodyguard, and then it's all good. But terrific job, and congratulations to Carter for just a fantastic game. Let's go ahead and take a break, and we're going to come back. We've got a couple more interviews, or at least one more interview, and some other announcements and things that we can talk about. But stay with us, and don't go anywhere, because we are going to talk more about, we got to talk about the Bulldogs versus Bulldogs game coming up on Friday night. Stay with us here on the Coach Minnick Show. We'll be right back.
Dings, dents, or a full-on fender bender. When life happens to your car, you can trust the team that's been fixing it right for over 40 years. At CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, expert collision repair, precision paint matching, and detailing come standard with customer care that goes the extra mile. CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, 816-628-5621, or you can stop in for a repair estimate at 104 West Main Street in Kearney. CarStar Porter's Kearney Body Shop, where your car gets the care it deserves.
Reagan National Airport outside Washington, D.C. were shut down for hours tonight. It comes after American Airlines says a plane blew out several tires after landing.
Flight 1551 blew one of its tires during takeoff.
4 tires blew out.
A disabled aircraft on the runway can easily shift from a simple inconvenience to an airport operations nightmare. The unfortunate outcome can often lead to a complete airport closure and, in some cases, significant airport financial losses. The solution is easy: Planescape. Planescape was designed as a simple, innovative method of removing disabled aircraft from your runway, quickly, safely, and efficiently. Planescape is manufactured for both civilian and military aircraft. The sturdy design makes quick work of moving everything from corporate jets, turboprops, large, medium, and small piston twins, and almost every single-engine aircraft, including tailwheel and warbirds. Planescape is extremely versatile and easy to use on multiple airport surfaces. Planescape traverses large runway cracks, sand, dirt, and gravel with ease. Potholes, ice, snow, and grass are no challenge to Planescape's mobility. And best of all, in most cases, you can clear a runway in less than 15 minutes with Planescape. Now that's a game changer that'll keep your runway open. Discover more about keeping your airport operations running smoothly. Visit Planescape.com and keep that runway open.
Friday nights in the fall mean one thing in Kearney: Bulldog football. And you can catch every snap, tackle, and touchdown right here on 102.7 FM and the KPGZ mobile app. We kick things off with the Penrod's Greenhouse pregame show, your inside look at the matchups, players, and keys to victory. Then stay locked in for the action-packed play-by-play of your Kearney Bulldogs under the Friday night lights. At halftime, we break it all down with the Platte Clay Electric Cooperative Halftime Show, delivering expert analysis, stats, and a look ahead to the second half. And when the final whistle blows, don't go anywhere. The United Fiber post-game wrap-up brings you highlights, scores, and reaction from the gridiron. It's all part of your complete game night experience. Bulldog football every Friday night, presented by Intercept Fiber of Kearney on 102.7 FM and the KPGZ mobile app. Your home for Bulldog sports.
Kelly Gentry here from Kearney High School for KMO-TV, joined by junior quarterback Carter Temple. Carter, big opening night here playing Fort Osage, a very good Class 5 school. You're able to take care of business by a score of 36-8. It wasn't easy going in the first half. Talk to us a little bit about the leadership that you had to display against a really tough team tonight.
For sure. We knew we were coming up against a good team, but that level that we play at every single week, every single day stays up here. And I really, as being the quarterback, you don't ever want to get below here. You always want to be up here and just always showing that you have the confidence and you're never not believing in your guys.
Speaking of confidence, Kearney just has a knack for scoring right before halftime. You've done it a lot. I want to just talk to you a little bit about that as being a quarterback and really the whole team. Are you guys ready for that? Are you just prepared and knowing that you're going to try to do that? You were able to do it tonight. It was a big momentum swing. Plus, you get the 2-point conversion to Drew in the backside to make it an 8-point swing. Tell us a little bit about managing that right before halftime.
Our offense kind of looks at it like no matter what the time is on the clock, we can always score. We got 30 seconds left, we got 2 minutes left, we got 12 minutes left. We can always score. And so that's how we look at it is no matter what the time is on the clock, we can score.
And is that something that you guys are repping to prepare for those short time situations?
A little bit, yeah, but a little bit of no at the same time. We practice 2-minute drill every Thursday, but it's not like something that we rep every single day. It's just we're really prepared for it.
Well, I got to ask you, as a former quarterback myself, I'm watching some of these ball fakes and some of these little moves. You look like Pat Mahomes a couple times out there faking that pitch and taking it yourself, some incredible runs. Tell us a little bit about what you were seeing on that.
I spent a lot of time in the film room this week. I pretty much knew exactly what everything they were going to do, so I kind of knew that they were going to fly down on the pitch, so kind of had that in my mind, give a little fake and get up. So.
Well, the other thing I wanted to ask you about, and I was never able to do this, 50 yards in the air, huge pass to Graham. Talk to us a little bit about that, what you guys were seeing. They were bringing those safeties down. You took a big shot and were able to make a couple of big connections.
We got some dudes wide receiver this year. Every single guy on our wide receiver core, they can start. I think on any team around. So I trust every single one of those guys to go up and get the ball. So I throw it up there and, I go get it. They go get it.
Makes your job easy that way. All right, Kelly Gentry here from Kearney High School. Kearney goes 1-0 on the 2025 season here in the home opener over Fort Osage. Good luck next week against Grandview.
All right, welcome back to the show, folks. When you can watch a guy like that all day long, and I don't mean to make this the Carter Temple show, but man, oh man, and Kelly throws a great interview, by the way, from Kelly, and you throw out a Pat Mahomes reference, and boy, you're saying something, you know?
Absolutely, he was doing it all. He did smile a little bit on that one, though. He was pretty serious until that point, right?
What I really liked about that, though, that he said that he had done all of the film study, and while he said, yeah, I knew everything they were going to do, well, I think what he meant was he knew all of the tendencies, obviously, and because he made them work. And when he had to carry the rock, buddy, and he knew the right cuts to make, almost like somebody drew it up.
Yeah, that's all coaching. That has nothing to do with his athletic ability or anything. I coached him to break all those tackles and do those things. But no, great kid, loves confidence.
Yes.
And a great leader on our football team. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you guys or not. He was voted a captain this year. And that rarely happens at Kearney as a junior. We haven't had one since I've been here. Not only is he a junior and made captain, he got the most votes out of everybody out of our team votes. Okay. So that tells you what kind of leader he is, what kind of player he is, what kind of person he is. And, you know, when you've got a really good senior class and we've got some great senior leaders and, you know, the team still votes him with the most votes, you know, that just says what we have in that young man.
Yeah, and he just looks like the kind of kid that obviously he's proven it, that he's so coachable and really leans on the support of the people around him, which I think is terrific. But if you need a guy who's confident and those, you know, he talks about being able to score in the late minutes or even seconds of a game or before a half, he's got it. So, I mean, you put that together with the rest of the talent, and you got something special. And let's just be honest about it. It's been proven over a year or so here. Yep. So just, yeah. Do we want to now, Brian, I'm going to set this thing up for the play of the game, right? Yep. All right, I think I got that right this time. Let's have a look.
So now it'll be 2nd and 14. Balls move back to the 19-yard line. 4:05 left to go in this third quarter. Kearney Bulldogs still up 22-6. Temple takes the snap, takes the handoff, drops it back to pass, looking deep downfield. Has a receiver. That's number 12. And it is brought in. That is Graham Parker with the reception. And he is all the way down to the 32-yard line.
Okay, number one, outstanding ball, great pass. And Colin Stratton was completely in the pocket
I thought
of
it was
the
a penalty.
receiver. I did too. I expected to see a pass interference call, but my goodness. Beautiful play on defense, outstanding play by the Kearney Bulldog quarterback, and a long gainer that puts Kearney back in position.
Yeah, number 12, Graham Parker, 6'1" senior wide receiver with the reception. Great job.
And we'll have to wait for the official call, but it looks like it's a 54-yard pass reception.
You can't practice that play, Coach. I mean, that's just game time. Bang, bang, and Jim had it as 54. We think it's maybe a little less. I'm going to call it 54. It was worth 54 yards. But what a terrific play. I mean, that was an easy play of the game. And when, you know, you kind of review it after the end of the game, we say, okay, what's our play of the game? That was easy. Yep. Great job by everybody concerned. Oh, and by the way, did you see that pocket protection back there on the 19-yard line?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I just appreciate you guys, you know, radioing down from the booth up there to call that play in there. But no, that's a perfect example of what we talked about. If when they start loading the box up like that, you're going to get one-on-one coverage out on the edge. And Graham, what a phenomenal catch. You know, we don't actually practice with our receivers of please catch the ball while you're also being tackled. Yeah. You know, that there was some definite contact there. Yes. So hats off to Graham for fighting through that and still making the catch, and great ball by Carter, put it out there where only Graham could go get it, and as you said, great pocket there to give Carter time to get those shot plays off, because it takes a while to get a guy 50 yards down the field, and so having the pass pro and the time to do it, and as you guys saw, Carter can throw that thing a mile if we give him time.
A mile distance and accurate too, which is just amazing. I don't know how he does it. It's just fantastic. Great job and terrific. Thank you, Tracy, for sponsoring the play of the game. We love you for it. We love you for all your support. But wow, that was easy.
You could tell we were a little excited in the booth on that, right? We were stepping all over Jim on his call, because we were so fired up about it.
Well, and it's high school football. You try to keep your perspective, and especially with the officials. But it just seemed like all night. You heard me, and I was just begging for a holding flag in many cases, and that. You know, that one was pretty obvious to me. That you might have, although I would rather have that 50-yard pass reception than the penalty.
No doubt.
So,
and you know, I didn't talk to the officials all night.
No need.
So, you know, All right, I may have talked to him a little bit.
Maybe once.
Sometimes you just got to let them know how to do the job.
I know. Well, it's just, and it's part of the, look, football's an emotional sport, emotional game, and, if you're not a real fan if you don't rag on the officials once or twice, but really appreciate what those guys do, and it's a thankless job, and you really have to love your work to be an official and at the high school level.
Sure.
And great job. They do a terrific job. Very professional. Yep. So, Kelly,
you ready for Grandview?
I am.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about them. We make the joke every year. It's a dog eat dog or something like that, because there's two Bulldog mascots. I like ours better though. Ours is better looking. And there he is. This little guy right there. I don't know if we can see it. Yeah, there he is. That guy right there. Look at it. See, we got the Bulldog helmet on. Let's talk about him, Kelly. Let's go. Or Coach, let's go to you first, and then we'll come back and ask you about all the things. We'll question what you've seen.
Yeah, well, this will be the only guarantee I make all year. I guarantee the Bulldogs win Friday.
Right. That was awesome.
You can put a lot of money on it that the Bulldogs will win Friday.
That's an easy one.
But yeah, you're going to see, out of Grandview, you're going to see an unbelievably athletic team. They run really well. They do a great job of running the football. Now they are, this year they're a little bit young. They're playing several sophomores from what we've seen from last week's film. So they are a little young and green in some spots. But at the same time, they've got 4 or 5 guys on the field offensively that if you give them space, they're going to outrun everybody on our defense. So we've got to do a great job staying over the top, because they like to spread it out and throw the football around and get it to their athletes in space. And so that's something you always have to defend. And we've told our kids all week, regardless of last year's game or regardless of how they played last week, they're a team that can sneak up and beat you at any point. So we've had a really good week. Our kids have really bought into, we're not looking ahead. We're going to take this thing one game at a time. And we told them this week, we're going to get better. I think Coach Backus's quote this year was, we come into meetings and he's playing Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. Just so we told our kids, we're going to get better every single day this week, and we're going to work on us. And, we'll see how the results come out tomorrow, but we feel really good about our game plan. And but they're definitely a team you got to watch out for, because they can score from anywhere at any point. And when you do throw it and put it in the air, they can go get it. So you've got to be safe with the football, and then defensively you got to stay over the top.
They've been a conference opponent for I don't know how long. Seems like forever, but. Early in the season, I think it was Preps KC interviewed all of you guys in the Suburban Blue, and I really appreciate that Grandview coach is just real positive and upbeat, and you could tell that he has a real positive outlook for the team this year, and you like that coming from any of the guys, and I mean. Nobody's going to say, no, we don't stand a chance. But obviously, I think that coach is somebody that could take a program like this with all that talent and put a team out there on the field that you better be ready for.
Yeah, and I think he's doing a really good job down there. And you'll see tomorrow as well, they've done a really good job of putting an emphasis on being more 50-50 run pass than what they have been. In the past, it was usually 75% pass, and they'd run it occasionally just to keep you honest. And they're really trying this year to establish a run game and get that part going, so that you can't just try to take away their athletes. You got to play honest ball inside, because they're going to run the football at you. So, like I said, he's doing a good job, and they're going to get better and better as the year goes. They're really, really young, and it's not much fun when you're that young early in the season, because you've got some growing to do.
Well, the game is at their place. We are going to be broadcasting the game. We'll be there. Mike and I, Brian and Eric, will be there to broadcast the game. 2 years ago when we played over there, they gave us a fight there in the first half until we were able to pull away. So, going on the road's a little bit different. We've got some younger guys that this may be their first road game as a varsity player as well.
Yeah, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, 7-3 or 8-2 on the year, So they've got kids that can play, and then they're always a team on your schedule. It's like, whoo, gotta keep them athletes in check and stay over the top and do those things correctly. But yeah, there's no shortage of talent or kids that can play football there. So good team, and like I said, I think Coach is doing a good job down there, and he's going to get them right.
Well, thing that you obviously have to look for, I mean, especially when you're you're either winning a state title or you're threatening to win a state title. You're going to get everybody's best game, and if you've got a team like that who's maybe on the cusp of becoming a good team, maybe even eventually a great team, they're gonna bring it.
Oh, 100%. We have a target on our back every week.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wants to beat the Kearney Bulldogs, and which we understand, and we like that. You know, that's the thing we have. You know, people want to beat us, and so we're going to get everybody's best shot every single week, and we like it that way.
Coach, before we
yes,
wrap up, I did just want to mention from a Kearney football alumni standpoint, just a shout out. I know we've got two guys that are up at University of North Dakota, Grant Noland and Theo Grace. Grant able to get the start at K-State last Saturday, and I think you and a host of people from Kearney were able to attend that game. Maybe tell us a little bit about that action. North Dakota almost beat them.
Yeah, what a cool game, what a cool experience, you know. How often does a freshman get to start at a big level game to begin with? So, you know, very excited for Grant to have that opportunity to step right in and be a starting corner. And then how cool for him to your first game ever, you go in to Bill Snyder Stadium there. And it was absolutely packed. And well, what a cool environment. Yeah, and there 8 of us coaches went and watched. And then I know Grant's dad, Eric, sent me a picture. I bet there were 20 to 25 current or past players at the game as well, supporting him. So he had
really cool.
Unbelievable amount of support. He played really, really well, made some huge plays. You know, he wasn't just out there as a freshman. He was making plays. I think he was tied for the lead in tackles. And then, yeah, they 25-point underdog, and they'd lose the dang thing with 30 seconds to go. So I think you're going to see North Dakota's no longer going to be a bottom feeder in that conference they're in. They've got a new coach this year, and you can tell they're ready to play some competitive football.
Yeah, and it makes you happy to see a player like that to come from Kearney, and it says a lot about our program here. But we also know about Grant Nolan's talent, individual talent, as well. Ready to wrap this thing up, Brian? Okay, get ready for the Bulldogs versus the Bulldogs tomorrow night at Grandview, and Kearney always travels well, so I don't have to ask anybody to get in their purple and drive out there. We're going to be out there, and I'm pretty excited about that. So we'll see you out there, if not before, but probably after the game, and we're looking for a big Bulldog victory. Come back next week, and we'll find out. And thank you for joining us on the Coach Minnick Show. It is a pleasure, and we appreciate you for being here. See you next week.